It changes. A lot has to do with tempo. I think the biggest thing for me, obviously, I have a lot slower takeaway than a lot of guys out here. My tempo's a little different, but for me, that's the key. You know, I don't need to start swinging like someone else. I don't need to start swinging faster. If I can stick to my tempo, then I'll be starting to hit a little bit better, hit my cuts, and do what I do best is, you know, hit my irons nice and close.
Just committing to the shot.
I'm a big feel guy.
Clearing my hips properly.
Turn your body and club through together.
Collin Morikawa, arguably the best iron player on the PGA Tour. He is precise, he is prolific, he has a golf swing that is envied by many. Fundamentally sound in so many ways, he is just so reliable from tee through green.
Oh, what a shot from Collin Morikawa.
It's just got great rhythm and tempo. That takeaway is just always under control.
At address, Collin is just very, very standard. See, just slight bend through the hips, knees are underneath them, and there's good pressure into the feet. I love how the arms hang down underneath the shoulders just like this. Now, Collin loves to fade the golf ball, so watch how the club will move outside of the line of the shot going back. So as he starts, watch the club head. Very disciplined, very slow starting. It sets up everything. And as we stop him right about there, can you see how the club head is still well outside of his hands? That is setting up this fade relationship that he likes to hit. Now, unlike most faders of a golf ball who will get the arms traveling more upward, you're going to see Collin get the arms going more across the chest going back. So from here he's set up, now the upper body winds up. See how the handle works more inward, handle's more behind the body there, and he's setting up an environment where to the top it's just all rotation because that left arm chest relationship, it's set up and that thing is not going to go anywhere. So as we take him to the top, you'll see the left arm and the chest work together. At the top here, there's that idiosyncratic bowed wrist of his that gets the club face a little more closed. Look at the relationship between the upper body and the arms. Now bear that relationship in mind, the forearms and the chest, because as he unwinds, that relationship will remain uniform the entire time. On the way down, look at how strong that lead wrist is. That's beefing up the club face for some powerful fades. But watch as we take him down just a little further. You'll see very active legs and feet as he unwinds in the middle. But you see those arms, those forearms, that wrist condition, that chest condition, everything has remained standard from halfway back into halfway into the downswing. Now from there, you're going to see that popped out lead wrist, very, very Hogan-esque. You can see why it's just so precise. There's freedom in the lower body. There's a little bit of freedom as he unwinds, but you see the right elbow underneath the left elbow, the left wrist visible, that club face dead on the back of the ball. That is all just allowing him to unwind and turn as much as he can, and he just brushes across this golf ball ever so slightly, hitting the prettiest little drip left to right shots every time he delivers. And just like many great ball strikers, he's balanced. In fact, he's mentioned to me that one of his keys is tempo and swinging into a balanced finish, a finish that's indicative of the shot he's attempting to hit.
Morikawa.
Okay, this is bold.
Come on. Yeah. Look for this for a little fade. Aim it at the left bunkers.
He likes it. Oh.
Spectacular shot for Morikawa.
Wow.
It is bold and beautiful right there.
Collin Morikawa might be known for the precision with the iron game, but he is not short off the tee. In fact, he averages over 300 yards because of the quality of the ball strike. Now, before we go anywhere, just something to pay attention to. There's a very weak glove hand, the lead hand, the left hand, and a fairly strong trail hand. Those hands working in opposition to each other, but I feel like that relationship allows him to put that lead wrist in extension, which beefs up the club face. At address, he's pretty standard with a driver. There's some tilt in the spine to the right-hand side. That's to create a little upswinging hit. There's the forward ball position, and you can see there how the upper body is well in behind that. Now, the one thing about Morikawa, as we start him back, is this action is very rotary. The club sweeps away from the golf ball, always very, very disciplined, almost a la Sung JM. Halfway back there, you can see how stable the lower body is. In fact, that right hip has barely shifted at all. All it's done is just rotate around him. Arms extended away, upper body rotating. From there, you'll see the arms hold their structure as they are just really carried to the top of the swing by the rotation of the upper body. That left wrist now going more and more into extension or a bow, which is strengthening up that club face. So to the top now. Watch how clean the pivot of the hips are. Hips have just wound around there. And you can see already how they are now shifting down and forward as he is into transition. But look at the club face. It's looking at the sky. Look at that forward wrist, that glove wrist. It's in full extension. That club face with a weak grip is now very, very strong. Now, something Collin prides himself on is how he clears out on his forward side. So you will see that lead knee move to that pivoting point, which is basically the outside of his foot, and then he's going to rotate around there. So the lower body will bump as we start down. There he finds the foot. Now from there, that glove hand is turning downwards still, club face very, very strong, but this lead knee now is really going to match up and start to rotate his middle out of the way, which facilitates this upward strike and a real tumbling, powerful ball flight. Take him down to contact, and you will see the hips continue to unwind, see the straightening of the forward knee now, and like we pointed out in the previous video, that lead wrist always bowed, always extended, always presenting a very strong club face through the ball and throughout the arc. From there up to the top, he just allows his body to unwind, gets slung around by the velocity of the club head. And as he mentioned to me, always with good tempo and into balance in the follow-through.
Collin Morikawa, his PGA Tour career just taking flight, 46th in the FedEx Cup, and very nearly an eagle from the fairway at number 4.
Well, this is right at it.
The hips move brilliantly on that one.
With an iron club in his hand, Collin Morikawa has very few equals. In fact, when he has his favorite 8-iron in his hand, I think he has no peer. He averages, with all approach shots, about 33 feet in proximity, but with that 8-iron, he is lethal. At address, not afraid really or encumbered by ball position. He allows it to move around because he creates shots, and that to me allows him to really vary flight and vary trajectory, which helps him hit the ball the correct distance all the time. And hitting the ball the correct distance is key to good proximity. So at address, very standard there, ball back in the stance. There's that idiosyncratic grip. As he swings away, the club just sweeps away from the golf ball, very disciplined, and we can take him all the way to the top. Because as we see the movement, you'll notice those hips. There's no side to side whatsoever going back. All that happens is that right hip winds behind him. Then into transition, there's a very slight down and forward shift, and then that forward pivoting post that we talked about, he's just going to drive to that and then rotate. So as he goes from there, transition into the downswing, the lower body will lead and the arms will follow. Into the front pivoting post, look at that hip right over the knee, left knee straightens up. I mean, that there should be a postcard. Look how that lead wrist is in front of the handle. Look how the arms are in front of the body and leading the shaft. Club head slightly behind the handle. He's delofting that, even though the eyes are trained in behind the golf ball and the body is moving forward. Look, because of that wrist condition, how the ball is launched lower. That allows Collin Morikawa to be so prolific and so precise with an iron club in his hand. From there, the job is done, and he just allows the club to sweep through into the balanced follow-through every single time. Even though that wrist in the follow-through, the glove wrist seems somewhat flexed, somewhat cupped through contact, it was powerful, and that face was de-lofted, and he authors plenty of terrific iron shots.
Just needs to make good contact, which he has done.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful shot.
There's an opening here for Morikawa. And he takes advantage of it and stuffs one. Wow.
Looking to keep the train rolling after 2 consecutive birdies. That's flush and on a very good line.
Oh, you are so right, Bones.
And another perspective of another gorgeous Collin Morikawa iron strike. At address, I just want you to consider this. There's the instep of the trail foot. Watch how the lower body pivots inside of that. So as he starts back, always very disciplined off the ball. And then once that's set up, the arm and the chest, the left arm and the chest just wind up together. And you see those hips? Right inside of the feet. Powerful, arms out to his side there. He is good to show off this beautiful sequencing. So watch in transition. You'll see the lower body lead and the arms and the chest follow. See how it looks like the core and the belt buckle. Pull the chest and the arms down. There's no dominant move from the upper body. That is gorgeous. So taking him down now to impact, the lower body leads. He finds the left foot. Through impact, watch how that lead knee, this left knee, goes from bent to straightened. Watch how the lead wrist stays in that strong position throughout. The whole movement is driven from the ground up, the core unwinding, the chest following, the left wrist remaining strong, and Collin Morikawa putting another heavy strike on yet another iron club.
See what Morikawa can do here at the par 3. Oh! Speaking of hitting the flagstick. Wow!
Collin Morikawa. Tee shot at the short par 4, 14th. Ooh, boy, how about that? It's as good as we've seen in a day and a half.
Morikawa 2 with 6 iron.
Oh, anything
it's
you
right
can
at
do?
it.
Oh, my goodness. I want my money back. Oh, wow.